Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to lecture 2 of Python Pandas tutorial series. Pandas has primarily two kind of data structure, which is series and data frame. Series is one dimension and data frame which is two dimension. In this tutorial we will talk about series, and in the next one we will talk about data frame in detail. Series is one dimension as we have discussed, and it is a labeled array capable of holding any kind of data type that include integer, string, floating point number, as well as it can store Python object, any Python object. The axis labels are collectively referred as index, which we will see in a moment. So without any further delay, let's get started. So first let's create a pandas series. Before we do that, we need to import pandas and define this aliases as PD. Many people they call pandas as PD, so we will go with the convention. And then we also need to import numpy as np. The basic way to create a series, pandas series, by accessing the series method from the pandas class, so pd.series, then you can pass two argument to this method, series method. The first argument is data and the second argument is index. And data can be instantiated from a scalar value, from a dictionary, and from a numpy array. And we will see all this example one by one. But but now let's talk about index before we actually see the example. This passed index is a list of axis label and it is optional. Index must be same length as data. If no index is passed, then one will be created having values 0 to the length equal to length of the data minus 1. And again, we will see the example in a moment. So first let's create a series from a scalar value. Okay, now to do that we will define pd dot series, and uh, let me first run this one or else it will not run. No module is numpy. Obviously there is nothing called numpy. Okay, so now series, and then here I will pass this value 5. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see this series is created which has one item and which value has 5, and this data type of the series is int 64 bit, and the index length, as I told you, the length is 1 in this series, so the index is created because we haven't explicitly defined index here, and the length of the index is equal to length of the data minus 1, which is 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, now if the data is a scalar value and index is provided, then the value will be repeated to match the length of the index, and we will also see the example here. So we will just repeat what we have done here, but as a next argument here we will pass index, and this is optional, so but here we will explicitly define the index, and we will pass 5 index name into this one as into index, and this index has to be a list C, D, and E. Now if I will just go to run it, even though we have passed one scalar value, you can see we have passed 5 index name, so that's why the length of the series is now 5, and integer and data type is int64. You can change it by saying 5.0. Now if I rerun it, you can see the data type is now being changed to float 64. Okay, now though we have seen how to create series from a scalar value, we'll see how you can create from a dictionary. So for that, let me first create a dictionary, and this one I will say A, and we'll pass the value 0 to this one, then comma B, and value against B would be 1, and C, and the value against the key C would be 2. Now we can pass this dictionary into this series as a data. So we will say pd dot series, and here we will say d. Now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see all the uh, key items, which is a key item of dictionary, which is A, B, C, is now the index label here. And all the values of the dictionary is the value of this series. Okay, so that's how you can create a series from a dictionary. You can also create a series from a numpy array, and for that, let me create a numpy array, an array equal to np dot random dot rand n. So let's create 5 element, and here we will say pd dot series, and then here in data we will pass this numpy array or nd array object, and we will pass the index, let's say same as what we have used in the first example. Now if I will just run it, you will see you can also could able to create a series from a numpy array object. Okay, before we see some of the so the vectorized operation, we just want to give you a bit of intuition how you can use this series as a fixed size dictionary. So it is very much similar to a fixed size dictionary. You can get and set value by index. We will see all this example in detail when we will talk about how to subset or slice and dice this data frame and series. But just to give you a bit of flavor how you should or you can um, treat this series as a fixed size dictionary, you can grab any item within the series S here. So let me define this series, name S to this series, huh? Now, and also print. And if I want to access or grab the first item, so I will just pass the label A as if the key to the dictionary. And now if I will just go ahead and run it, you will see you get the value of the first element of this series. Similar to dictionary, you can say s.get, and then here you can pass the index label. Let's say I'm saying F, and in case if it doesn't find the index label in the series, this should return. So I would say if it is not, if it doesn't find this index label, just return np nan. Now if I will just run it, you will see you get nan because f is not present. And if I pass a here, you will get a. So it's similar, very similar as similar to dictionary. Okay. Pandas series also provide these vectorized operations similar to the numpy, because in a numpy, if you remember, you're looping through value by value, usually not necessary. The same is being true for Pandas series as well. And also you can pass this series into many of the numpy array methods which expect an nd array. And to test both this theory, this vectorized operation, and can you pass this series into numpy array method, I need to give you example and prove you it actually does. First, let's create a series s equal to pd dot series and arrange 5. Okay, it's np dot arrange 5. Now here I will say print s. So this is the series, what the series looks like. Now, if this pandas series object provide the flexibility of vectorized operation, if I will do this s plus s, the output result will look like as if 2 is being multiplied to the each and every element of the series S. Now let me run it and you will see this is the result, which is what we expected, as if the vectorized operation occurred and 2 is being multiplied to the each element of the series S. Okay, similarly, you can also pass an pandas series to a numpy array method. So one of the method is exp, and into this method you can pass this Pandas series object as, and it should return the output without any error. So that means you can actually do that as well. Okay, now the final thing which we're going to talk about is the name attribute. You can also define the name of the series, not the name as a S, but a label to the series, and not to the index, but label to the whole series as if. So to do that, we first need to define a series, which I will do it here. And as a next argument to this series, I will say name, and here you need to pass the label which you want to define for this series S. So here I will say something. Okay, now if I will just run print S, you will see the additional one attribute now came, which is name attribute, and it has a value something. You can also grab this name attribute from s dot name, and if you run it you will get the output as something, because that's what this attribute, name attribute of series S is. You can essentially rename the name attribute of a series by saying s dot rename, s dot rename rename, and here within the parenthesis you pass this argument. Let's say different. RENT. Okay, now here you will see now the name attribute is changed to different, not something anymore. Okay, so that's a bit of overview of how you can create a Pandas series, and also we have seen few of the key attributes or few key things that you can do with Pandas series. In the next tutorial, we will see what data frame is. It's nothing but just a combination of many series. Okay, so as usual, if you have any question till now, please feel free to drop your comment in the comment section, or else thanks for watching. Thanks for all your likes and subscription. Until next time, cheers.